right, we're moving on to chapter 7. 7.1, we're talking about negative exponents in zero power property. A huge shift in concept change, okay? Nothing to do with slope-intercept, nothing to do with finding points of intersection and systems of equations, a whole different ballgame. First thing I want you to do, I want you to notice a pattern. So in your calculator, I want you to type in 3 to the negative 2 power, 2 to the negative 3 power, 5 to the negative 2, and 10 to the negative 3. Okay, when we convert this into, when we put this into our calculator and we convert it back into a fraction, we should get that this is 1/9. 3 to the negative 2 is 1/9. We should get 2 to the negative 3 is 1/8. We should get 5 to the negative 2 converted down gets to 1/25. Notice a pattern. 10 to the negative 3 should be 1/10 cubed. Does anyone see a pattern that's going on? I see 2 hands, 3 hands. Does anyone notice? DJ, what do you notice?
Just like you do whatever it's to the power, then you put it 1 on top.
1 on top, right? This is really saying 1/3 squared. This is really saying 1/2 to the 2 cubed. This is really 1/5 squared, and this is 1/10 cubed. Awesome. That works all the time. Anytime you're given a negative exponent, we have a property. Write this in your notes. The negative exponent property says that if you are given a power means you have the base and the negative exponent. If you're given a power to a negative exponent, you can rewrite it. So a to the negative n would equal 1/a to the n. Okay? Or if you have 1/a to the negative n, you just kind of flip it. This just turns into a to the positive. It's like finding reciprocals. And once you reciprocate it, it turns it to a positive. Example, x to the negative 3 would turn into 1/x cubed. Okay? 5 to the negative 10 would turn into 1/5 to the 10. A to the negative 6 would turn into 1/a to the 6. And the other example, if I had 1/3 to the negative 2, well, since it's on bottom, to turn it positive, I'm going to just put it on top, 3 squared. 1/x to the negative 5 would just turn into x to the positive 5. The hardest parts for students is this second example, knowing how to handle that. Recap, quick. If I'm given a negative exponent, it's never simplified as negative. And on the MCAs, they will never, if they give you an option for negative, you need to find the positive option. A simplified exponent is never negative. So if I have a to the negative 6, I rewrite that. It's just finding the reciprocal. And once I do the rotation, my exponent is positive. Okay? Looking at this example over here, 1/x to the negative 5. To turn this negative 5 positive, I just do the reciprocal. And I turn that x to the 5th over 1. Just leaving it as x to the 5th. Okay, I'm going to do some examples here. X to the negative 5th, I swear I just
1
did
over
this
x.
one. Nick, what is it?
1/x.
1/x to the 5th turns it positive. Two to the negative 4, what does that turn into, class?
1/2 to the 4.
Okay, I want more than Nick participating. What does this turn into?
1/2 to the 4.
Thank you. 1/2 to the 4. Next example. maybe?
Patient, just like
Double click. Double click.
be patient, young one.
3 to the negative 3?
Or not.
More?
1 over 3 to the third.
1 over 3 cubed.
Third.
1 over 3 cubed, which turns into, on ones like these, I'd want you to totally simplify it out. That's 1 over 27.
Okay.
1 over 2 to the 4th, what's 2 to the 4th? 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 32.
Patient.
1 over x to the negative 2?
X to the 2.
I want I want the x to the negative 2. I'm going to reciprocate it. It's just going to go right on top. And we get x squared. Okay? All right. Positive and negative exponents. What you're going to want to do there is box off what is negative and only move the negative ones. Okay, with positive and negs. If we have positive and negative exponents, all I'm going to do is move what's negative. That's my strategy. So I look here and I got a cubed over b to the or a cubed times b to the negative 2. The only thing negative with the negative exponent is that b. That's the only thing I'm going to move. So now I want this to go on the bottom. There's no bottom, but we just create one. This turns into a cubed over b squared. Now again, what I did, let me just recap this. I have a cubed, b to the negative 2, all over 1 is what I really have going. And remember, when you turn your negative exponents into positive, you do the reciprocal. I box off what was negative, and that was that b to the negative 2. Only negative exponents. That's the only thing I'm going to move. Since it's on top, I'm going to move it to the bottom. Once I move it, the exponent turns positive.
You get the 1.
Because anything is over 1. I just made it so people could see that's where it goes over. So I get a cubed over b squared. Next, x squared over y cubed z to the 4th. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit so you guys can see. There you go. Now what you should be asking yourself is, what has the negative exponent? What has a negative exponent, class? Y does. That's what I'm boxing off. That's the only thing that's going to move. Since y is on the bottom, where am I going to move it to? To the top. Once I move it to the top, it turns positive, the exponent. So I get x squared y cubed all over z to the 4th. That's the answer. It is weird. It's totally off of what we've been doing.
I just don't like
It's just tricks. This is the trick. When you see a negative exponent, flip it. Jake.
How does this help us in MCA?
Because you have tons of exponent questions. Yeah. Okay, look at the next example. 1 over 4 to the negative 2. So what has the negative exponent?
4. So you move it up to the top.
So I move it up to the top. And I get 1 over 4 to the negative 2 turns into 4 to the positive 2 times 1, but I'm just getting rid of that, which is 16. Yes.